Okay, this is an update that I did. I took the drain and I drilled a small hole in the in this old table. I still got to touch it up, and I made it so it went underneath into a bucket. So now it's underneath there. I still got access to my drawer where I have all my stuff and my brown pad. When I leave it and I'm done, I don't want to leave the pad in there. I don't want to put any pressure on the door, so I leave it like this. I readjusted this so it was fixed, but I cleaned it up. I drained the oil, so now when I seal it, it actually levels out perfectly straight like it did. It didn't do that before. It used to be like this when they put it in the first time, so I readjusted that. But yeah, I don't want to put the gasket in and leave pressure on it until I need it. And then up here, my vacuum pack, strawberries and bananas, and sealed with that machine. So far everything's going great. My next project is to build a little box that keeps the pump about right here, because it's just on a box right now because I had to drain the oil, and yes, it was a disasterly mess at first, so I don't recommend, but there's been problems. People say, even if you buy that kit, Harvest Right does not recommend it. The techs say that if you buy the I'm sure you've seen it, the kit that flushes the system through, well, you have different size of hose couplings on there, and that puts different pressure on the pump, and it can destroy your pump. This is from the techs themselves and from the pump manufacturers. So that little $200 setup with all those little things, not worth it. Not worth destroying the pump. Of course, you can still add a little, I'm going to add that piece that comes out here so I can have a little caulk thing to drain it. That's fine. But if you're messing with the vacuum pump on the part where it goes through here and comes around, that's not going to fare well. So I recommend not doing that part if you're new, like I am. So I'm learning everything. I just put a sock on here for the first time so there was no oil spill or anything, just in case, because I've heard there was. I am going to change this one out and put that little tiny spill valve that sits out in the back, so you can so if it does overflow, it goes into that tube. Now that's fine too, because that's the exhaust and or the intake or whatever, but it's not dealing with the vacuum itself. So I will not be adding any of those pipes to it, but I want to design a little tiny box, and I do recommend putting a fan onto it, because then you can actually touch this even when it's maximum hot. You can put your hands on it and touch it. So I have learned that, and it actually makes the cooling process, the vacuum, work less and work without so much pressure. So I'm going to design a little box that has like a V shape that will allow the air to come in here and blow on this, just like I had it temporary using this rug that I had it wrapped around like that, because the air came in. It was all neatly lined up before. It wasn't on this box. It was on the pieces of wood, as you can see from the other videos. This is just temporary until I can figure out the piece that I designed. But since I looked at the other guys' videos, and some people have carts and stuff like that, I just found out that this, heavy duty little tiny nightstand, it fits so perfect on there. It's not even, it's just perfect. And then I drilled a hole, like I said, so the water and stuff will go down into the bucket down below, which should be adequate enough. So yeah, there it is. And as soon as they get a black freeze pad, they're gonna give it to me, because come on, face it, it's like a brown pad on blue. Nah, that just doesn't look right. It's personal preference, even though this is brown, so that kind of throws it off. But I'm gonna touch this up. This is just temporary until I can if I can design a metal. I'll weld myself my own case for it in the future, but this works for now. So that's going to be changed out in the future, and I'm going to put a drainage hose that comes out with a little caulking thing, like I said. But I do not recommend getting that flush system, because it actually damages the pump, according to the techs that I heard. Now, other people that are selling it for $200 and some will tell you different, because, you know, might as well make that money. Of course, you can fancy trick this out. So eventually, I'm gonna take that little blue, as the like bright LED blues, and I'm gonna make this thing kind of like pimped out, like pimp your Harvest Right. It'll be the first one that lights up, kind of like a computer case. But there she is. So that's the follow-up for now. I'm gonna just try to figure out ideas for the next freeze, because right now I'm freezing things and I'm eating them. So I'm just doing tests, and I'm not freezing yet things for keeps. Except those strawberries up there, but I eat so many cutting them off, you know, when you cut the ends and you get them prepared and you eat the little ends, that I kind of just done away with strawberries for a bit. Just for a little bit. So yeah, so I'm going to figure something else out for that. If you have any idea that helps or something, give me an idea. Feel free to let me know in the comments. Or I can take an old computer case that has built-in fans and put it inside. Now that's another thing I'm thinking about. It'll also blow a lot of air in, and it'll keep the pump cool. Because if you keep the pump cool, it will perform a lot better, and it will do less wear and tear, because these things get hot. So far, the ball valve and everything that other people have had issues with that they showed how to fix, well, it looks like they've done a good job and done that. This one is actually, just looking at it, you know, it actually says for them. I mean, it's, you know, it says Harvest Right vacuum pump. It actually has their label on it. Of course, there's no oil in it right now, because I took out the oil, and since I'm waiting for my my filter, I decided to put the oil in the freezer. So what happens is all the other stuff freezes, all the bad stuff, and then when you're done, you just drain the oil, and it comes out, you know, crystal clean, or however. Still smells like the food, because yeah, you've been using it. There's no way to get that smell out. But you know, if you really want to just do it an easy way, is just to drain all the oil from this machine each time and put it in a cup, like a big Slurpee cup or something. Put it in the freezer for a couple hours. It freezes, and then drain it into your strainer, or whatever you do, your like coffee filters, or whatever you want to use to filter it, and then the ice will stay at the bottom. So therefore, you've got rid of all the ice, and the oil you have 100% back. So therefore, you're not draining 1 teaspoon like it says to do each time, because that's really not getting all the water out, because this pump holds a reserve. So that's why when you fill it, the next time you fill it, you'll want to be just a little bit down below the line, because this already has oil still stuck in it from the next time. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to overfill it, and it's going to spit, like you see in some of the videos out this tube. I'm just learning everything I am about this, so far I haven't been wrong, but if I am wrong, feel free to correct me. But that's what I've seen so far. So the things that I'm going to replace are this. I'm going to add the little canister, and then I'm going to have like a little drain thing, so I can actually drain it easier than having it, you know, make a huge drip down mess like it is right now. Because fortunately, where it's at, it's on the carpet. So yeah, I don't have the biggest kitchen in the world, but I make it work. And that will be it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and you'll see the new updates as they occur.